this is part 3. And I'm going to start by just kind of wetting down the colors that I have. Not that I'm going to use them all, but it's good to at least have it ready to go when you want to use them. I'll probably tend to stay towards these ones over here for the most part, maybe a couple of these. But it's good to mix these things up as you go so you don't have all the same colors. It gives you variety. I already have some blue and some kind of violet gray in the sky. So I hadn't really decided exactly what I wanted to do with this yet. My initial idea was to have blowing leaves in the wind. Don't do that yet. First I'm going to do some of the groundwork. So I'm going to get the same brush that I was using previously. Move my coffee out of the way so I don't dip my brush in it. Now, what I have here almost shows like a natural division between the sky and the ground. Maybe these are even some white clouds right here. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of ground, but I'm going to start out with just kind of some earthy tones. So I'm envisioning like kind of a fall scene here. So I'm going to come in and just kind of start dabbing some areas of color. And I'm taking care to make sure that my markings are different sizes, different densities, because then I can come back in with some different colors and kind of work on these areas like this. Now if you think it's a little strong, you can use your finger to dab it off of there. See, I'm making different shapes. I'm even throwing some dots out there because there's going to be some other stuff there later anyway. So I'm kind of giving myself a feel of an incline here, kind of going downhill to the left. Now just because it's kind of in the fall doesn't mean you can't have any greens in there. Because what that green's going to do is it's going to break up these warm colors and give you some nice variety. And if you pay attention to the way things happen in the fall, late summer, there are things that are totally golden and orange and things like that, while there are still things that are green. So that's one of the nicest times, I think, is when the greens and the reds and the oranges and so on are all out there together. So once again, if you notice, I've got like 4 different colors here already. And I'm not saying make it like a rainbow, but try to get some variety in there. Now the other thing you can do too is I'm going to take some of this, just like one of these earthy tones, and I'm just going to make it mostly water. And I'm just going to drag it down through here. I'm not scrubbing, I'm not going solid. I'm just developing some different types of contour areas here. Have some darker areas here. I left some white spots. Those won't be totally white when it's over, but it's room for me to leave some lighter colors also. Like I'll come down in here. I'm crazy about this shape, but we'll work with it. So I think the biggest thing to take away from what I'm doing right now is variety. You want a large variety of markings. You want to vary your colors. Even if you look out in the yard, it's not all solid number 3 green. There's different shades of browns and everything like that in there. So I'm going to come down here with a little bit more. Now, what you need to notice is these things are layering. So, one color, if you remember from foundation, we call it glazing, when you have a color that overlaps another color and creates a third color. Well, when you do things like this, you get a lot of that. And it's very helpful. So, I'm going to mix some more, get some more like greenish yellow kind of shades in here now too. Because there's still some life in the grass here. So I'm sorry I didn't give you a happy little sky. It's more of like a gray little sky. But that's just what I happen to come up with. Maybe add a touch more green to this yellow green. So you can see that there are things that are alive here, and then there are things that are passing into the stages of fall. And I think that's one of the nice things about the variety that you get when you mix your colors up. Now later on, I will probably take a finer brush and come in here with a few more details. For instance, this tree is okay, but it's transparent. And what I'm going to do with it, realize I'm jumping around a little bit, but I'll give you some things to kind of think about and work on till next time. And don't progress much past what we have right here, because we want to kind of keep together on this. In the past, I've had some people that kind of just went crazy and like finished it and deviated totally from what I wanted to show. So then there's nothing left on the paper to actually do what you're supposed to do. Okay, I got a nice dark here. I don't know if that was black or what. This is actually my mom's palette. We dug it out of the side room. My wife was cleaning up to take over the one side of the house, so to speak, because she's a nurse and she has to stay away from us for right now. So I'm in, actually the kitchen right now is my new office / studio, and I don't know how good that is because the refrigerator is about 4 feet away. But anyway, what I'm trying to do now is I'm just getting some darks on my brush, and I'm trying to get most of it off. And I'm going to get a paper towel and kind of flatten this out, get most of it off the brush. And I'm looking at, I think my light source is over here. I think these clouds are brighter. So I'm just going to touch this tree here, if I can see it. I'm not doing solid shading, I'm doing splotchy shading. Because we're not sure if this tree's totally alive. It might have some dead bark on it, it might have some peeling bark. So you're going to have some gaps. And it just gives it more interest rather than just being this really fluid looking, transparent thing that's there. And once again, you don't want to get carried away. You go hog wild on it and get too much paint on there, then it's going to look like a big brown blob. So you have to kind of just feel your way through it slowly. Just barely touching these, because if I go too hard on it and I make it too big, then I'm going to have to restructure the whole tree to fit the size of the markings I put down where it's supposed to be fine. So I don't want to do that. Okay, this ought to give you about a class period's worth to work on. And tomorrow, what I'm going to do probably is I'm going to do some more with this area down here. And I'll save the leaves blowing from the tree for the very last, because I think that's going to be a nice accent with the warm colors coming off into this area as opposed to these cool colors over here. And I think that'll be nice. So I hope you all are doing well. I know this is kind of a weird time and tough for a lot of people, but I think we'll get through it, and I wish you all the best till next time.